Okay, so good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah, we are trying to.
Good morning.
Yes, we are trying to learn some features about Zoom so that we can use it in our various classrooms or take advantage of some of the things that it presents. So my name is Ukebu, and my contact information is below. So next slide would be, I just created this session just in case somebody wants to write down their names. And hold on, I have to stop this. Okay, so the norms are, if it's possible, please turn on your webcam, leave yourself on mute unless you want to speak, be present, monitor your airtime, and then participate. So this warm-up, during the last class, I tried to use it, but eventually it wasted most of our time. So we can come back to it. It's all about you discussing with anybody in your group. I will still create the group. So once I create the group, then we can talk about this warm-up. So this is basically a list of all the slides that I have regarding this lesson. So you can read it yourself once you download or you access the file on Google Classroom, which I posted. So this slide is basically to introduce Zoom. Most of us already know what it is, it is basically a software application that we can use for video conferencing. And right now that we are doing virtual distance learning, it is useful for us to connect with the students. So we can do that through directly from our computers or cell phone or even tablets. And students can also connect in those manners as well. It can be applied in different fields, but we are in education, so we have to use it in classroom or during collaborative planning. So basically, if you're seeing me or listening to me right now, you have already joined Zoom. So I also posted a link on how to join Zoom. So I strongly recommend that you can watch the video later on how to join. So I believe everybody can join Zoom. So I'm trying to go to the very most important things. So now creating a Zoom. This is where we are right now. So before you can use Zoom, so you have to actually create something, the meeting or schedule the meeting. So what I will do right now is I will share another screen and then I will demo how to create a Zoom meeting. Okay, so usually what I do is I log in into my account, into my Zoom account before I create the Zoom meeting. So once you are logged in into your account, there are different options, file, meetings. Please put yourself on mute, webinars and stuff like that. So probably you need to use the meeting or the webinar. For example, I may just type algebra. I may type algebra 1, algebra 2, and then you go ahead and type description if you want to, and then you have to select the date of the meeting. For example, it can be the same day or a day after, or any time of your choice. You can adjust the month, stuff like that. So you select a date. Let me just select today's date, and then I will say 10:35. Can I now continue, please? All right, so I selected today's date, and then I will say 10. I mean, you can just choose the same, let me say 10:30. 10, and then make sure you are selecting AM or PM depending on what when you want the meeting to start. Of course, this is Eastern time that I'm selecting. So I just chose 1 hour right now for illustration purposes. If you want to make it a recorded meeting, then you have to click this check this box. If you check this box, it will give you the options to make it either daily or weekly or monthly, as the case might be. But right now, there's no need for us to do that. If you choose that, then you can make fill up some of these portions as well. But let me uncheck it now so that we can move on. Now you can generate the meeting ID, either generated automatically or you use your personal meeting ID, which you have as soon as once you sign up to Zoom. Now you can allow the system to generate a passcode for you, or you can customize it. For example, I can just say that this code would be, I will call it Zoom 3 or Zoom 2, it doesn't matter. But whatever that is, if I want the participants to wait while I admit them, so I have to check this box, but let me uncheck it right now. And then if you want the video to be off, then you have to check off. If you want it participant video to be off, you have to check off this. But since we are dealing with students, you want it on, and then you encourage them to keep their video to be on so that you can create that relationship. For the audio, it is better to choose both telephone and computer so that there will be options. If you want the students or the participants to join before the host, then you must check this box. I recommend for students to leave this box blank, because if you allow them to join before, they can join the meeting and start doing something you may not want. You know how students can, once you finish all this, if you want to set breakout rooms, you have to check this box as well. Okay, so I'll just click save. So once you click save, the meeting is created. The meeting is created. Now, once you create the meetings, if you want to start the meeting at the time, whenever the meeting you want to start the meeting, you come back to your screen, and then you still come to meetings, and then it will list all the meetings that you've just created, and then you have to click start. You have to click start to start the meeting. So for example, if I click start right now, it will still pass through all those processes of logging you back into the Zoom. Now, because I am running another Zoom while I'm doing this presentation, there's no need for me to start the meeting, because that will override this. And I'm not using PGCPS account to run a different Zoom account. Okay, so let me just close that, and then I'll come back to the screen. Now, let me go back to where I was. Start share screen again. So I was on this presentation. So now we have just created a Zoom meeting, and we started a meeting. So now we have to run some controls. So let me go to the screen where we can. So these are some of the settings to consider while you are creating the Zoom meeting. So one of them is the passcode. And you just need to do this for security purposes. And another one that is important for classroom collaboration is the breakout rooms. So later on in this presentation, we will learn how to create breakout rooms. And then also how to mute participants. I just muted somebody right now, but you can mute all. Sometimes you have to let the participants unmute themselves as well. And then you can allow removed participant to rejoin. For example, if a student is, if you just have to kick out a student, you have to set the setting in such a way that if somebody is removed from the meeting, the person cannot rejoin unless you give permission to rejoin the person. So these are some of the settings you need to consider. Okay, so this is starting a meeting, which I already illustrated. This one is meeting controls. So what I will do is I will play a video relating to meeting controls. So let me just click on this. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
From Zoom, and we are back to share with you some of the fundamental in-meeting controls once you launch your first.
These are very important controls.
So we're going to walk you through. I will share my entire screen. We'll go through some of the options together. You should be able to see my desktop at this point, so you can see the Zoom here. Basic controls, you'll see muting and unmuting capability on the lower left-hand corner. If I were to click the mute button and try to speak, we will get a pop-up to alert you that you are muted, and this is what it'll look like. We can also use the up arrow here to select a different headset. So if you join a meeting and you're not hearing anything, you might want to double check and make sure that your AirPods or your headset is connected and configured in here. If it's not, you can click audio settings to get to an audio dashboard to help configure and test your equipment. You'll see the start and stop video option. So if you're a little nervous to start meeting over Zoom with your video on, you can simply click the video off button to show a profile picture if you've created one. Otherwise, I always recommend having video on so you can make eye contact with your audience. Communication is 70% body language. So being able to see all of your coworkers, counterparts, or people that you're working externally allows you to anticipate when someone might need to pause you to ask a question. You'll also be able to see if people are following along with what you're teaching them or speaking about. Same thing here, up arrow will allow you to select any camera equipment. Of course, the FaceTime video camera is built into my MacBook, so you can use that, or if you have an external camera, you can plug that in and Zoom will recognize it. Moving on, we have the ability for you to invite participants on the fly. Right now, there's nobody actually in this meeting with me, but if I wanted to invite one of my teammates, I could click this button and it would pop open a list of anyone that I am already connected to via Zoom. And
if there are nobody listed on yours, you can actually click a link and then it will allow you to enter the email addresses. So she has some team members. That's why you saw the list.
It's as easy as selecting multiple participants. You'll see in this list here, it's going to show me the last 15 to 20 people I worked with before it goes into an alphabetical list. I can click multiple people and click the invite button in one shot, or I can copy the URL, which is the link to the meeting, and paste that into a group chat that we have going. You'll see across the top as well.
That was what I did. So I copied the link, and then I shared the link, and that was how you guys joined.
You'll always have an option to email. If you're on our free version of Zoom, you probably won't see room systems, Zoom rooms, or phone, but you will always be able to send an email invitation out through your default email, whether it's Outlook or Gmail. You'll also see a manage participants at the bottom. So right now, this is letting us know that only one person is connected to our meeting. If I click the button, it allows me to expand to see a list of everybody that has joined. I will always be at the top of this list if I am the host, and then everybody else will show up alphabetically in this list. Folks that unmute themselves will also bubble up to the top in case I need to hover over them and click mute. When you hover over people in the meeting, you'll always have a mute option and a drop down that will give you a few additional action items. So you can mute them, you can give them host permissions, you can remove them from the meeting if they're not supposed to be there. You'll see on the bottom, I've enabled a feature that's called non-verbal feedback. We will have a follow-up video showing you how you can enable some of these advanced settings if you'd like to use them, so stay tuned for that. But this would allow my audience to say yes or no, go faster, go slower, or even raise their hand or give an applause while we're in a meeting, so we can be interactive. I love the coffee cup. If anybody in your audience selects this, that'll show up right next to your name in this participants list. And one other thing I want to point out here is the mute all button. This is sort of our emergency red button. So if you are getting any sort of background noise or audio feedback while you're in a meeting, you can always quickly hit the mute all button to just stop it while you can identify where the background noise is coming from. The more drop down here will give you a couple additional options, things like locking the meeting for security or hearing enter and exit chimes. So I will always know when somebody joins as the host because I can hear a doorbell. We'll move on to our shared content button. This is something that
this one is very important because that's how you are going to give the instructions to the students. And that's what I did to share my screen.
You'll notice everyone in your Zoom meeting has. I love this feature so much because it gives anyone the ability to share content, not just the host. By clicking the green button, I will also get a pop-up asking me what I would like to share before I share it, so you never have to worry about sharing your messy desktop. Clicking this button, you'll see the pop-up on my screen here. I can select a specific desktop. For example, you can see my cluttered desktop over here. I will not share with you, but I can choose a clean desktop. I can choose a specific application, like just a web browser or just a PowerPoint presentation. And of course, if you want to share a video on YouTube, you'll want to select that button and make sure you're clicking share computer sound and optimizing the video clip for your audience before you hit the blue share button, and then that will go live for everyone on the other end. I'll go ahead and hit the stop share button now to show you 2 or 3 features that can piggyback off of this. Let me go back to my main desktop. Once we are in shared mode, you'll notice an annotation tool. If you're the host, this bar will show up at the top with a pen tool. If you're a participant, you'll see at the top, it should say whoever the host is sharing, there should be a little drop down that says more options. If you click more options, that will bring you to your pen tool. If you don't see this for whatever reason on your screen when you are live in a meeting, you may need to hit the escape button because you might be in full screen mode. But with annotation, it'll expand into a toolkit that I can use to use a spotlight tool. I can also use it to draw shapes on my screen, and also I can just freeform anything as well. So I can say hello from Denver and draw that on here as well. So this is something that anyone in your audience, not just the host, can be annotating live while you're sharing content. So if you have questions, you can circle and say, what kind of plant is this? And I'll be able to answer that question for you. The host will also be able to clear the drawing, and the host can also use their more options to basically disable annotation for guests when they're in the meeting. You'll see disable attendee annotation. You can also see who's drawing on your screen, which is a pretty cool feature. Now, if you want to restrict others in the audience from sharing their content and make it host only, you can simply leverage the up arrow, which is right here at the bottom of my screen. You'll see this up arrow lets me go into advanced sharing, and this pop-up will allow me to make it a host only share. So this will restrict users from sharing anything out of turn that might be distracting. I'm going to go ahead and put this back onto all participants while we move to the next feature, which is in meeting chat. So if you're in a meeting and you want to chat with everyone.
That's what I did in posting the Google Classroom, and you can chat privately as well.
Everyone, you can click this chat button here. You'll get a little pop-out window, and I can say hello to the audience. I can post a link to zoom.us or even to our support page. And if I want to, if there were other folks joining in this meeting, where it says everyone would be a drop down where I could simply select one other person to privately chat with. Love this feature a lot. Highly recommend testing it before you go into a live meeting, testing it with your friends or colleagues. And you'll see here that I can also merge this to my meeting window by using the triple ellipses here. And so I can have a dashboard on the right-hand side, letting me control my audience as well as chat with them at the same time. And I think the final feature that we'll review on this recording before we go into our advanced would be the ability for you to record a session. So I've already started recording, so it shows my only options are to pause the recording or stop the recording outright. Now, if I wasn't recording, I'd have a circle that would allow me to initiate the record. I'd like to note out here that only the host of the meeting has permission to record. If you are a free user, you will be able to record directly on your laptop. If you are a licensed user, you will be able to record out to the cloud, which is what I'm doing now. So this recording will come up with a link that I can share with others when it's done.
Meanwhile, on the recording, you can select that recording while you are starting the meeting, when you were creating the meeting. So you can select that option as well, so that once you start, it starts recording.
Last but not least, don't forget to end the meeting. When you're done with the meeting, you'll get a pop-up allowing you to leave if you need to head out early, or end the meeting for everybody. We are always going to recommend that you make sure you end the meeting for everyone so you can go start your next meeting. Thank you again for watching this recording. I hope you learned a little bit about some of the basic controls when you start your first Zoom meeting. Let us know your feedback and stay tuned for advanced settings when you're in a meeting. Also have some recordings for reviewing Zoom on your mobile phone coming out shortly.
Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the screen where I was, which was the presentation screen. 1 second, please. Okay, so we were on meeting controls, and then the presenter just showed us some of the features that are very important as far as running the meeting is concerned, and then controlling the participants, especially now we are dealing with students. So let's go to the next slide. So right now I am going to create a small group, and then on that small group, you will discuss the controls that may be used for students' engagement and feedback. So I will stop and create that group. So for you to create a group, you have to come to more options. The command is Breakout Rooms. So you click on Breakout Rooms and then assign how many students per participant. So let me just say something like 4 or 6 or 4, it doesn't really matter. So create room. So it created a group of 6 students. So I'll just say open. So now you can join. There's going to be a pop-up screen. So just click on the pop-up screen to join.
I suppose when we leave the break room, we come back automatically to the main room.
Yes, yes. So I'm going to close the room so that we can go back to where we were.
Mr. Okigbo?
Yes.
Later, if you'll have time, sir, will you be able to show us how to set up the background, virtual background?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but I have to use another Google account, another Zoom account in order to do that. And on the other hand, there's also more settings I will post on the Google Classroom so that you can actually watch the video. So if you don't mind, let me go ahead and continue with the
oh yes, sure.
With the slide, please.
Okay, no problem.
So we just demonstrated how to create breakout rooms. There's a video on the Google Classroom we can watch later on. So let's continue.
Quick question, please.
Yes.
Is it easy for you, the teacher, to move from one group to another? Is that very eminent?
Yes, it is possible. Once you created the group, if you are the host, you will see the groups you created, and you can move one participant from one group to the other.
All right.
All right. So now sharing of the screen is what I've been doing all along. I shared a video. I haven't shared a link, and I can do that. Now, if you want to share a file, then you have to load that file. You have to upload that file on a Google Drive. Otherwise, you won't be able to share. If you're just sharing a file directly from your computer, Zoom will not allow it to be seen by the participants. Now, the next thing, which is very important, is sharing a whiteboard. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So I will share a new screen and share a whiteboard. So if you click share button, which is the only green button in Zoom application, it will give you options to share whiteboard. So let me just click whiteboard, and then I'll click share. So it presents I hope everybody can see this, right?
Yes.
So now this is where you can actually, if you have a tablet, a writing tablet, right now I'm moving my mouse. You can hardly write well with a mouse, but if you have a writing tablet, I'm using Wacom 1 application. Maybe you can, if I pull it this thing, you just Wacom. So I will write maybe a topic, subject, I'll write trig, trigonometry, for example. You can write anything, and then we are trying to draw something. You can just draw a shape, and then label it the way you want, A, B, C, and then you can write your equation, for example, C squared equal to A squared plus B squared. You can just write whatever you want. It is best if you have a writing tablet. On the other hand, if you want to type something on the whiteboard, you just click text. Then it will give you the option. It will create a text box where you can say, type anything you want. Let me just say, hello, everyone. So you can type anything you want. You can erase, for example, if I want to erase, just click erase button, and then you erase whatever you don't want anymore. Okay, so that's the whiteboard. On the other hand, if you allow students to share, then they can also share whiteboard. So you can use that to get a feedback from them or to show you what they can do. But I doubt if many students are going to have the writing tablet, but at least they can use the test to respond, as the case might be. You can clear the entire board if you want to, or you can save it. So it's up to you. So just walk around these options, and then you take it from there.
Can we see what you were writing on? The Wacom something.
Oh yes, I wanted to show you. This is that's the tablet that I'm using right now.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, it's from Wacom. I bought it from Wacom anyway. On the other hand, there's also, you can use, if you don't want Zoom, if you don't want Zoom whiteboard, you can use Microsoft Whiteboard. There's a Microsoft Whiteboard which does the same thing. You can also use Microsoft OneNote. It has an ability for you to write on the screen. So, so let me go back. Okay, next slide is, if you want to share video, which is what I did, you share a video or a link or file. But let me repeat again, the file has to be loaded on Google Drive. And this is how to use Zoom Whiteboard. So I just did that. And there are options. There's a Google Jamboard you can use. There's also Microsoft Whiteboard you can use. This video is also on the Google Classroom, so you can watch it later on. Let's go to creating small groups. Let's watch this video, creating small groups. This is very important.
Hey everyone, Farah from Zoom here. On this brief video, we're going to show you how you can leverage our breakout room feature to take a large meeting or virtual classroom and split it up into smaller groups or sessions. You'll see that I have already enabled the breakout room feature, which you can find in your settings along the bottom. And that breakout room button will actually be right here. This is a button that only your hosts or co-hosts will be able to see. And right now we don't have a co-host in the session. If I manage my participants, I can hover over Catherine, for example, to make her a co-host. So she'll see this button now as well. When we're ready to split the group into smaller sessions, I can easily click this button to get a pop-up window asking me how many rooms I'd like to assign out and how many participants per room. For this example, it's recommending, since there are 6 people, we can split it up into 2 rooms. I can do this automatically or manually. So if we click on the automatic button, it'll generate those breakout rooms for us. Certainly if there's anyone I want to swap out, maybe I want to move Michael to the other room, I can exchange him for a different participant. Once I'm ready to open all rooms, I'll click this open all rooms button and our participants will be able to join the sessions that we've created for them. So we'll slowly see those people join. One thing that's really important to note is that as a host or a co-host, you can actually hop between the different rooms to talk to the participants. You can see here, I have the join button. Now everybody's left to go to the rooms. I can broadcast a message to everybody and say, wrapping up in 1 minute. And this will broadcast the message. And then I can close the rooms, which gives them a 1 minute timer to rejoin our session. We'll give everybody a second to rejoin, and I'll show you 1 or 2 additional features with breakout rooms. There we go. We can kind of see everybody kind of popping back in. Now everybody's rejoined the main session. You'll see that I have the opportunity to reopen these rooms again, which is really great. If you have a very long session or a very long virtual class, you can split into these virtual smaller groups as often as you'd like. And the additional options here will allow you to automatically close breakout rooms after a specified amount of time. You can also change the countdown timer to be 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you like. I'll show you a setting where you can also pre-assign folks to be in your breakout room before the classroom starts. You'll want to navigate over to the class that's already been created in your Zoom portal. Under the Meetings tab, you can find your meeting. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, you'll see if we open this to re-edit it, I have the opportunity to pre-assign a breakout room here. And I can create the rooms and upload a CSV with all of my participants in advance so that their names are already populated in the room when I start the session. That's basically how you can run breakout rooms. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any additional questions, please visit us at support.zoom.us. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
Okay, so let me go back. That was how to create breakout rooms. I loaded this video on the Google Classroom. You can watch it over and over again. So let me go back to the slide, please. Hold on a second, please. Okay, I'll go back to share to my screen. So we just did creating breakout rooms and small groups. This is very important for student collaborative learning. So now I am going to administer a poll right now. So I administer a poll, then you respond. This is just a demo. So let's see. Can you see it?
Yes.
All right. This is just a demo. It's just a demo. You don't have to get any answer right. It's just to show that you can create questions and then students can respond. So 5 people have responded, 6. And you can monitor the number of responses and you can end it at any time. So let me quickly end this because we're almost running out of time. So let me share the result of the polling right now. So that's how you can gauge who got what. If you want, you can create as many questions as possible. You can also create just one. It's up to you.
Question.
Yes.
Did you use Google Form to create this poll? I mean, this poll?
No, there's a button on Zoom that is called polls. So,
okay.
So once you create and start, once you create your Zoom meeting, then you scroll down to the end, and then if you plan ahead, you can actually create those questions before you start the meeting.
So you have to type the questions.
Yes. So you have to type the questions and then take 1 or 2 settings on it, and then it will create.
And my last question.
Yes.
Regarding the tablet, the tablet, where did you buy it from? The tablet for writing.
Yes, I bought this one from Best Buy, about $400.
Can you show it up? Let's see.
Yes. I hope it doesn't disconnect, please.
And what is the name again?
Wacom One. Wacom.
What size is that, Mr. Yu?
It's 13 inches. 13.
10? Okay. Thank you.
Wacom One.
Yeah, Wacom One. Yes. Wacom One. Here's the. I think I still have the box so that you can see when you can buy it from Amazon or Best Buy. I believe probably you need to buy it from Best Buy. That's the best option. If you want it, if you want to buy it, Wacom One. Okay, so let me close this window, and I believe we can. I'll go back to the screen. We have about 3 more minutes. So next slide is to practice how the learned skills. This is the time you can use in order to launch your Zoom, create a meeting, and then if you want, you can start the meeting by yourself, or you invite people to start the meeting with, and you can join any person you want, or you can post your link to anybody you want to join the meeting. And you can also ask questions now. Meanwhile, in this presentation, I also added a flip grid, a flip grid account. So if I click on this flip grid, it should launch it. And then I have a code that I can, let me write down the code and post it. This is 77F525BE5. So let me launch this quickly. So if you are new to Flipgrid, then you need to sign in as an educator. But if you already signed in as an educator, you just enter the code. For example, the code of this very one I created is 7. I'll just type it in. 7F525BE5, and then I hit enter. So this is one way that students can actually present their whatever they prepare or you ask them to do. So let me join using, I have to sign in using Google. Okay, so now these are some of the tools that we are still trying to figure out the best way we can use it in classroom. For example, if you ask students to do something and you ask them to use Flipgrid, they can actually record a video of themselves doing it. So if I click on record a response, it will use this, the camera of my device and start recording whatever I want the student, I want everybody to hear or see. So I just added this on the presentation. So we have, they say we should end at 10:15. If you have questions, you can ask. Otherwise, our time is up, but I'll be up and running until I get the last question.
Mr. Yukewo?
Hi, this is Mrs. Orange. I have a question. Can you show us the slide? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Yes. Can you show us the slide where you had all of the links to different sections of this video? Or will we get a copy of your
Yes,
presentation?
I posted it on the Google Classroom that I created for this. So let me just copy the Google Classroom code and post on the chat, so that once you are there, you will see all the videos, including the presentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm doing it right away.
Okay, thank you.
I just did. Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Toba, you wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Wacom, how do you pay? WACOM, is that what it is?
Oh, Wacom.
WACOM.
WACOM. Then
W.
the model that I bought is one, like
Okay.
ONE. So there are so many models. So the reason why I prefer the Wacom one is it allows me to see what I'm writing on the Wacom tablet itself while it projects on the screen.
All right.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, please.
For the Flipgrid, you said students can use this for, I didn't get the last part. They can use it for what?
They can use it to give you responses to questions you ask them. Or if they're doing a project, you want them to demonstrate the project. Or if you want them to write something and show you a video of it. Or if you want them to speak, to say something. And then they can record themselves. And then everybody on that list will see it.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So, I mean, I can go to the Google Classroom and then play one of the videos, which I haven't, if you want to, but our time is up. It's up to you. Everything is up to you. Somebody asked the feedback attendance form. I didn't get the link, so that's why I couldn't post it. So once I have the link, I will post it on the Google Classroom so that if you already joined there, you can complete it there. And you can exit the Google Classroom at any time of your choice. If you have questions, you can post it there. I will respond. I can also work with you one-on-one.
And same with the survey form, is it, Mr. Yu?
Yes, I don't have the survey form right
Okay.
now. Otherwise, I would have posted it. But I'm guaranteeing you that I will post it on the Google Classroom later on as soon as I get it.
Your cable.
Yes, sir.
The other place where we get to configure small group, it says setting. Do you get setting from where do you get it? Where it says setting? Do you get it from meeting?
Okay,
From
now
meeting?
here's how it works. Once you log into your account, then you go to advanced settings. Then
Advanced setting.
advanced settings, you will have to select breakout rooms. If you don't enable breakout rooms, you will not be able to create breakout rooms. So you have two options. One is breakout room. The other option is remote control. For example, the host can connect to another person's computer using the remote control. But if you want, and once the remote control is on, the breakout room will be off. So for students, I believe the best option would be to use the breakout rooms because they are requiring us to always use small groups for student interactions.
Okay, advanced setting. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Even if you don't go through advanced settings, if you just go to settings and scroll down, you will see it. It's just that you have to pass through so many settings before you get there.
Or you found setting right out, right when you go to a meeting?
Yes.
Right
Once
there.
you're on your account, the settings is one of the links on the left side.
Right.
So if you click on the settings, it will pull out all the settings for you, about 50 or so options. Then you can just scroll down and read them and see the ones that are suitable for you. On the other hand, if you just want advanced settings, all you do is you click the advanced button and then it will pull down the advanced settings options for you, and then you take it from there.
Okay.
But it has to be enabled in order for you to create a group.